and welcome to Literazzi, where we read the first chapters of the greatest novels ever written. As you can tell, I've sat down here, I'm getting ready to go to bed, and what I love to do before bed is to read a really good book. And that today is Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. If you'd like to purchase a copy of this book that we're reading today, you can find it in the link in the description below this video. It's a great way to support our channel, and you'll be able to read alongside me as we continue on this journey. And without further ado, let's get into it. Chapter 1. Mrs. Rachel Lynde is surprised. One day in early June, as Mrs. Rachel Lynde looked out her window, she saw Matthew Cuthbert ride by. He was wearing a white collar and his best suit of clothes, a sure sign he was leaving Avonlea. And his horse and buggy looked newly cleaned. Where could he be going? Mrs. Lynde knew that Matthew was a quiet man who rarely went far from home. Although she thought long and hard, she did not know what to make of what she had just seen. "I'll just step over to Green Gables and ask his sister Marilla after tea where he's gone and why," she told herself. Mrs. Lynde walked along the path beside the brook. This brook ran through most of Avonlea. It started near the Cuthbert place, twisted and turned, bubbled through pools and over rocks. By the time it reached the hollow near Mrs. Lynde's house, it was calm and quiet. People said that even a brook would never risk making too much noise near Mrs. Lynde's place. Green Gables was built by Marilla and Matthew's father, a man as quiet and shy as his son. It sat far back from the main road, surrounded by orchards. "No wonder Marilla and Matthew are so set in their ways, with only trees and each other to talk to," Mrs. Lynde said. "But their home is certainly lovely." The house at Green Gables looked well cared for. There wasn't a stray stick or stone to be found in the yard. Privately, she wondered whether Marilla Cuthbert swept that yard as often as she swept her house. One could have eaten a meal off that ground. She knocked on the kitchen door and entered. The kitchen was large with big windows looking out on the yard and orchards. Sunlight poured in. Marilla was sitting at the table knitting. Mrs. Lynde noticed that the table was set for 3 people and that Marilla did not use her good dishes. The dinner guest must not be too important. Mrs. Lynde was now more curious than ever. Nothing unexpected ever happened at Green Gables. "Good afternoon, Rachel," Marilla said. "How is your family?" Marilla was a tall, thin woman. Her dark hair, always twisted into a hard little knot at the back of her head, showed some gray streaks. "We're fine. I was concerned about you, though, when I saw Matthew go by with the horse and buggy. Is everything all right?" Marilla had expected her. She knew that Matthew would drive right past Mrs. Lynde's window, making her curious. Despite their differences, or perhaps because of them, they were friends. She tried not to smile at Rachel Lynde's attempts to discover more information. "I'm quite well today, thank you, although I had quite a headache yesterday. Matthew went to Bright River. We're getting a little boy from the orphanage in Nova Scotia. Matthew went to the train station to get him." If Marilla had said that Matthew had gone to Bright River to fetch a kangaroo from Australia, Mrs. Lynde couldn't have been more surprised. "Is that true, Marilla? What on earth put such a notion in your head?" Marilla spoke as if getting an orphan boy was a common, everyday event. "Matthew is getting up in years. He's 60. His heart troubles him a great deal, and we thought a boy would be a big help. Mrs. Spencer was going to the orphanage to get herself a little girl, so we sent word asking her to bring back a boy for us. We plan to bring him up right, give him a good home, and send him to school. We got the telegram today. They'll arrive on the 5:30 train at Bright River." Well, Marilla, Rachel Lynde began. She prided herself on always speaking her mind, and this was no exception. I think you are doing a foolish thing, a risky thing, bringing a stranger into your home. You know nothing of this boy or his family. Marilla didn't look up from her knitting. I've had some worries myself, she admitted, but Matthew was set on the idea. He so rarely sets in his mind on anything that I felt I should give in. Besides, Rachel, there are risks with most things in life. Well, I hope it turns out all right, said Mrs. Lynde, but her tone indicated she thought it unlikely. Although she would have liked to stay and meet the orphan boy, Mrs. Lynde knew it was time to leave. She would just have time to run to the Bells' place to tell them the news before supper. I do feel sorry for that young boy, she said to herself. Imagine living in that household with the Cuthberts, who know nothing of children. I often wonder if they were ever children themselves. That was chapter 1 of Anne of Green Gables. So my initial thoughts here, I am very intrigued to find out who this orphan boy will be. It does certainly seem like Mrs. Rachel Lynde is a little nosy. She wants to know what's going on, but you know, her and Mrs. Cuthbert are friends just based on location, where they live. They give each other nice company. It also sounds like they live in a really beautiful area, a very idyllic location. So I am very curious to find out in the later chapters how this orphan boy and the Cuthbert household will all get along. I'd like to thank you so much for joining me as I read chapter 1 of Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Again, if you'd like to purchase a copy of this very book that I read today, you can check out the link in the description below, and it's a great way to support our channel. See you next time in the library.